It's Friday, you know what that means. Welcome to another Quick Queries Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I'm your instructor, Richard Rost. This is Quick Queries episode number 36. That means there's 35 other ones before this that if you really want some punishment, go watch all of them. What are quick queries? Well, they're quick answers to queries, and I put a whole bunch of them together in one video, and I answer your questions and stuff like that. So, all right, let's get to it. First up is a question from Richard, one of my silver members. He posted it in the forums on my website, and his actual question doesn't really mean that much, but I wanted to point something out that he's doing in his code that I know will help a lot of people. He's basically checking to see if the user has any records, right? For example, you want to check and see if a customer has any orders, right? And he's using Dcount. Basically, he's looking for whether they have zero or not zero, right? And if you have any, then do this open query that deletes those supporting records. But the point I want to bring across here is don't use Dcount if all you're doing is looking to see if there are or are not related records, right? If you're looking to see if a product is being used in any order, right? So don't use Dcount for that, because if you use Dcount, it's going to literally go down the entire set of records, or at least start at the beginning and run to the end, and have to go through all of those records to give you a count. What you want to do instead is just use Dlookup, and that's what I answered him down here. It says just use Dlookup, because you're going to look up an ID. You're going to wrap that in NZ, right, null zero, and if it returns any value, then that means there are records, and that's a whole lot faster than using Dcount. Okay, so that should speed you up somewhat for now. There is actually a faster third method that I'm going to cover in a full tech help video next week. So look for that. The title is going to be called Do Records Exist? I'll put a link to it down below, but it doesn't exist yet. The record doesn't exist and the video doesn't exist. So when it does exist, the link should work. Okay? Okay. Next up, a question on the YouTubes from Jade Dragon. First off, he says, I don't know if you have any interest in doing it, but Friday's Quick Queries could be a great candidate for something to do live. Yeah, I used to try doing live sessions, but unfortunately, that's just not a good thing for me. I was assaulted a few years back, and it left me blind in one eye, and I've got some broken bones in my face and some nerve damage. And because of that, I get really random, weird migraines, and sometimes I just have to go lay down. So I've tried doing live stuff in the past, but I just can't commit to a schedule and do an hour-long live session, and then halfway through it I have to go, excuse myself. So that's why I prefer doing pre-recorded stuff, because I can record on my own pace. I can pause when I have to. I can go lay down if I need to. So that's why I prefer this format. But that's a great idea. Thanks. And then he says, maybe an order number could be a 6 or 7 digit number, which is generated by a random number generator. Yeah, that's certainly possible. I've had clients like that in the past that did like using random numbers for things like that. Just generate a random number, check to see if it exists. If it doesn't, you're good. If it does exist, generate it again. And depending how long your number sequence is, it shouldn't be a problem to do. You certainly could do that, and I've got several videos where I do cover generating random numbers. I like sequential order numbers myself for each customer. And I got a video on that too, where every customer has their order numbers in sequence. So a customer can always check their own orders, and if they're missing an invoice, they'll know, right? Because their orders are, let's say their customer number is 111, it'd be 111-1, 111-2, and so on. So that's the way I like doing it in a full production video or a database. And for this last thing, Troopers Travel is nice knowing you're banned. I don't know what that is. I haven't seen anything from a Troopers Travels. I haven't had to ban anyone in a long time. I will only ban someone if they're rude or say mean, nasty things. I never ban someone just for disagreeing with me or telling me that I am doing it the wrong way. I like learning new methods of doing things. And if I'm doing something wrong, I definitely want to know about it. So you'd never get a ban for that. The only people that I've had to ban in the past, and there haven't been many of them, are either people who post spam. I have no tolerance for that. If you post a spam link trying to get people to go to your channel, no, get out of my comments section. Those people get banned instantly. Or people who post rude things. And I try to keep stuff like politics and religion and all that off my website and off my channel, because I just don't want to deal with that in a professional setting. I'll deal with it personally, on my personal Facebook page and stuff. But that stuff, keep it off my channel. But I haven't banned anyone in a while. So maybe this person deleted their own comment before I saw it. I don't know. And also, Jade Dragon, I still have your email in my inbox. I'll be getting back to you soon. So don't worry about that. I've just had a busy couple weeks. Dalsky Bo says, hey, thanks, Richard. Just come across this. Was wondering what was going on. Not much. What's going on with you? How you doing? Next up, we got R. Yeaton. Or is it Ryaton? Well, whichever way you want to go. Quick query suggestion. In the query design mode with the properties window open, perhaps a quick mention of a few things. Mainly the existence of other options. They got unique values, unique records, and these generate distinct and distinct row and all kinds of different cool stuff. And it's funny that you bring this up because on my calendar later this month, I've got scheduled to do a tech help video on distinct versus distinct row. Basically, in a nutshell, distinct looks at just the fields you select, whereas distinct row looks at the entire row of the table behind the scenes. And we'll get to that in more detail in a tech help video. I also cover it in my SQL seminar. And you can find that stuff. If you go into a query, go into design mode. Most people don't know, but there's a big property sheet. Hit property sheet up here where you can right click down here and go to properties. This thing pops up. And depending on where you click inside of here, you can see all kinds of extra options. Now, most of the time, I don't bother with this. I almost never need to go in here. But here's the two things. You got unique records and unique values. These two things here. That's the same as distinct and distinct row. Usually when I want to group things with distinct values, I'll just use an aggregate query, which is this guy here. And I've covered this in a lot of different videos. And I honestly can't remember the last time in a real production video I've needed to use unique records. Because unique records will go the entire row. It looks even at the auto number. So it's got to be completely unique, even that. And that almost never happens in my databases. Because I almost always use an auto number. Some of the things like top values are kind of cool, but you can do that here. That's how many records get returned. You know, if you want just 5, 25, whatever, how many records you want, 95 records, you type 95 in there. You got your record locks and more advanced options like the source database. You can connect the query to a different database like an SQL Server database, all kinds of stuff you can do in here. And I cover most of the stuff in my more advanced classes, but yeah, I don't often use this stuff, honestly. I get this comment once in a while. If you want to give a tutorial, just don't assume the user knows. I try not to assume that the user knows anything. That's why I give prerequisites at the beginning of most of my videos. I try to say, if you're going to do this, go watch these other videos first so that you know what you need to know coming into this video. But my tech help videos are whatever topic I feel like covering that day. And if there are prerequisites and things you need to know, I'll try to tell you. If not, sorry. My full course doesn't work like that, though. My full course, if you take it from beginner level 1 and then just follow the lessons in order, I don't assume you know anything except what I've taught you previously. And that's why I tell people not to skip around. So if you want to learn, the right way from the beginning, start with beginner 1 and work your way up. The tech help videos are usually, a specific question or something specific to a problem or, random stuff. Giovanni says, I noticed that you never use the query design option inside forms, reports, list boxes, or combo boxes. Is there a reason why? I figured that maybe you want to keep it simple for teaching purposes. I use it a lot. I don't like having too many queries displayed in the list. I agree. I don't like to have too many queries in my database window, navigation pane, whatever you want to call it. I try to take those and actually make them SQL. What he's saying is in every form, for example, if you open up the properties, you got data. Right here, you got customer T. You can click this little guy right there and make a query builder. See? And then you can put whatever you want in here. And this works in combo boxes. This works in list boxes. And you're right, I don't use this that often. I prefer just writing the SQL myself. Because if you do something like this, if you say, give me this, this, and this, and let's sort it by last name, right? And then we'll save it and close it. What that does is it puts that SQL straight in here. See? This is what I'm used to writing. So I guess I kind of have two different levels. I have the beginners, which for my beginner classes, I want them building queries. I want them to get used to making queries, and you might have a lot of them by the time you're done, right? And then after that, I tend to go into here and just work straight in SQL. I almost never invoke this query builder right there. Why? I don't know. I think probably because when I started using Access, I don't think it existed. And so I got used to one of those two things. If it's complicated, I'll make an actual query. If it's, basic SQL, I'll write it over here myself in SQL. I almost never use this query builder. So that's probably why. But you're right. I don't use it. I don't. That's probably why. It is once in a while nice if you want to tweak something. Like here's a combo box, right? This picks a list of customers. You can come into here, go to the row source, hit the query builder, and it'll pop up in the query designer what that SQL really is. Right? There it is. That's basically that is what's in that little box. And so if you want to, you can come in here and make changes and do stuff. And then when you close this, it rewrites that SQL statement back in there. But again, once I pass the beginner stuff, I just come in here and just edit this myself. And see, another thing I guess I don't like about that query designer is it fluffs up your SQL. For example, if I got something based on only one table or query, I get rid of that. I write cleaner SQL. And I don't put brackets around stuff. See, like that. So this would be my final SQL right there. So a lot of the wizards and things like the query builder, they add too much extraneous information. You don't need all that. So I don't know. There's several reasons why I don't particularly like it. But if you like it, great, use it. Nothing wrong with it. It's just one of those tools. There's a dozen ways to do everything in Access, and just pick the one that works best for you. But very good question and great observation. Carrie says, I wish I could rank your most useful videos. I'm trying to bookmark any of the ones that I'm going to need one day. When I first started watching, I was like, oh, that's nice. What a clever trick. Now that I'm doing this more professionally, I find myself pulling my hair out because I know for a fact that I learned something specific from you, but I can't ever find the video for a refresher. And no, searching your website never works for me. Yeah, I know. My web search is rudimentary at best. It's nowhere near Google. I'm sure it's just a me thing and not a you thing. I need my own custom way to find things, and searching in a search box never works for me personally. Anyway, great job. Okay. And then Nigel says, sounds like you need a way to keep track, maybe a database of some kind. Yeah, perfect. All right, a couple things here. Ranking my most useful videos, that would be cool. I'd like all you guys to do that. Pick your 3 favorite videos. There's like 1,000 of them now, so it's going to take you a while to go through them all. But so when it comes to finding stuff on my website, so I do have a basic search box over here, but it only looks for keywords. It's not good like Google at searching for phrases. So if you type up something like Dlookup, right, and do a search on that, it should give you, here are my hand-picked ones up top, the search index. There's the Tech Help videos where I talk about Dlookup, right? There's the main one right there. But all of these videos have Dlookup in their keywords, right? Here's where I cover it in my course outlines. As you can see, it's covered a lot. The news and headlines, there's other articles I posted about it. The Code Vault, if you're a gold member, I have my Dlookup Plus, for example. And these are all comments and headlines and stuff. Whoop, sorry for jarring around. My scroll wheel is starting to go. Now, down here at the bottom, there's a couple things. There's show all results, because I only show 20 per search hit, but if you hit show all, it'll continue going. And I also have this Google search for Dlookup, and what that does is it throws that search phrase into Google specific to my site, and this is better at finding long tail keyword phrases. So for example, let's say you're looking for, Dlookup with multiple criteria. All right, hit enter. Now it doesn't see, even here I say you search for a multi-word phrase, try using Google. You can hit the Google search right there. And let's see. Yep. Dlookup multiple criteria. So it's much better at finding more complicated keyword hits. Because as you can see, my search index doesn't, there's nothing. Because you know why? Probably because that word with. I should strip words like that out. Dlookup multiple criteria. Let's see if that comes up. Nope, it's still empty. But that's why I've got the Google search option there too. So that should help you find it. They do a lot better. I'm not a search engine. I built a really simple search engine, and it gets the job done for me. But yeah, there's also this thing here, which is the Access Index. Now, this is an index of all of my courses and all of the Tech Help videos and all of my seminars and everything in one big long page. And again, it's just keywords, but you can do a Control F to find stuff. So if you put in multiple criteria, there, see, It'll bring you to wherever it finds multiple criteria. Okay, there's Dlookup multiple. So whatever you're looking for, there's ways to find it. You just got to learn how to use it on my site. But that's why I got the Google search option on my site. Now, that brings me to the next thing. If you're searching something and you're even using YouTube search or Google search and you don't find what you're looking for, I want to know about it. Because my goal, and part of the reason why I started the Tech Help video series was to address specific questions and problems and things that people have that I may or may not have covered in my course, right? Like, let's say I covered Dlookup, but I didn't cover a specific instance that you're looking for. Okay, that's where the Tech Help videos come in. So the number one reason I started that was to answer questions and to help people out. But the secondary reason is because if someone is searching for something on Google or YouTube, I want my video to show up, right? A, I want to help them. That's my most important motivation. But B, I want them to watch my video because hopefully they'll become a member, or, you know, that's how I run my business. So if you search for something on YouTube or Google or Bing or wherever else you're searching and my video doesn't show up, I want to know exactly what you're searching for. Because if I don't have a video with those keywords, I'll make one. Okay, that's my thing. A lot of the videos I'm making now are just because people say, hey, I tried searching for this and it didn't come. Okay, I want to know what your search phrase was. All right, let me know. And yeah, make a database. And yeah, everyone out there, I want to know what your most favorite videos of mine are. The most useful videos. Post in the comments down below. I'm really curious now. I should do a poll or something, but post some comments and I'll take the most popular ones from those comments and I'll put a poll together. How's that sound? Sometimes I just like to have fun with people in the comments. Like this person, Shafiq, said, V good, which I know is very good. And thank you very much for the compliment. But yeah, V was an awesome series. Anybody remember this series, V? Remember these guys? I loved this series when I was a kid. And I just want to take a moment to say thanks to all the people who leave nice comments for me. It really makes my day. I really enjoy it because I go through all these comments as often as I can. And just to see, you know, so many of you post such nice things, and I really appreciate that. So thank you very much for watching. I'm glad that you enjoy what I do because I really love what I do. Once in a while, I get some comments in another language that I have to use Google Translate for. I'm very thankful for Google Translate. I use it a lot. This person says, I'm guessing that's excellent video. I can read that much Portuguese. But then he says, how can I become a channel member? I get a lot of people from around the world asking how to join. Usually, you'll see a blue join button right under the video on YouTube. If you don't see it, then channel memberships might not be available in your country. And that's a YouTube thing, not a me thing. So if that's the case, you could try signing up directly on my website, which is right here, 599cd.com/join. And you can sign up on my website. The only downside is then you'll have to watch the extended cut videos and all that on my website. You won't be able to watch them on YouTube because it's two completely different membership systems. So there you go. Meister EMH says, I've implemented a date calculation. I have a table of holidays. It contains a couple of years of holidays, right? Last year, this year, next year. Is there a way for the database to remind me perhaps toward the end of next year to populate it with more holiday days? Well, of course, there's always a way to do, well, I'm not going to say always a way, but there's usually a way to do most things. What I would do is I would hard code in a specific holiday, like a reminder for making more holidays. And then you've got to trigger it somehow. So I would maybe trigger it in the on-open event of your main menu, right? So when the database starts up, you could delookup that specific event, maybe by ID, right? You know what its ID is once you add it to the table. And then just check to see if you're past that date. And if so, throw up a reminder. And I just happen to have a video that shows how to do that. You can do this. This one here uses a timer event. So you can leave a form running and it'll pop it up at times throughout the day. But you don't even have to go that far. If yours is just based on a date, right, you just check once when the database starts, and if it's that date, pop up your reminder message. So check this one out. I'll put a link down below. Still getting lots of comments on my April Fool's joke. I love putting on an April Fool's prank every year, especially to the people that don't know me and don't know I've been doing this for like 15 years. But thanks for all the fun comments. I got some really cool ones. Well, folks, that's going to do it for Quick Queries 36. Enjoy your weekend. Hope you learned something. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button right now and give me a like. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel, which is completely free. And make sure you click that bell icon and select all to receive notifications whenever I post a new video. Do you need help with your Microsoft Access project? Whether you need a tutor, a consultant, or a developer to build something for you, check out my Access Developer Network. It's a directory I put together personally of Access experts who can help with your project. Visit my website to learn more. Any links or other resources that I mentioned in the video can be found in the description text below the video. Just click on that Show More link right there. YouTube's pretty good about hiding that, but it's there. Just look for it. Now, if you have not yet tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, tables, all that stuff. It's over 4 hours long. You can find it on my website or my YouTube channel. I'll include a link below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? And if you like Level 1, Level 2 is just $1. That's it. And it's free for members of my YouTube channel at any level. Speaking of memberships, if you're interested in joining my channel, you get all kinds of awesome perks. Silver members get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, and there's hundreds of them by now. They also get one free beginner class each month, and yes, those are from my full courses. Gold members get the previous perks plus access to download all of the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos. Plus you get access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions and all kinds of source code that I use. And gold members get one free expert class every month after completing the beginner series. Platinum members get all of the previous perks, plus they get all of my beginner courses, all of them from every subject, and you get one free advanced or developer class every month after finishing the expert series. And you can become a diamond sponsor and have your name listed on the sponsor page on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by accesslearningzone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time.